Our meeting to order. It's my birthday. I have an excuse today. And I haven't had a drink yet. So. And nothing to smoke either. Item number 2 is discussion of the possible use of economic development funds for resolving the concerns on 88 Main Street. And I do have Attorney St. Orange here, and Bill, I'm hoping you'll give us a run-through of what the proposal is, and if you would be so kind as to do that.
Yes, I've given each of you a written copy of the opinion, and I therefore think you can all read it fairly well, won't read it to you. The bottom line of the issue, as far as I'm concerned, is that I would be concerned about the town appropriating money specifically to pay a building permit fee. However, the Board of Selectmen is charged both by state statute and by the town charter with the superintending of the concerns of the town and with the power to settle any claims in which the town is involved. For example, from time to time, the town attorney has settled lawsuits on behalf of the town, the tax assessment appeals and all those. As you'll recall, all of those things always come before the Board of Selectmen for the Board of Selectmen's approval, because you are the final power in dealing with that. It seems to me that we've got a sort of a double problem here. One, we have an unhappy contractor and owner that have a contract that had an addendum in it that said building permit fees were waived. But I think the really important thing is, to the town, is we've got an eyesore in the middle of town, and we've got a very significant state grant that we've got a duty to implement and to see that the grant is completed and the work that we told the state would be done is done. So I think that a reasonable compromise in this matter to discharge any liability we might have to the owner and general contractor and get the project back on track is that the Board of Selectmen would authorize the Economic Development Commission to make use of funds they have, and these are funds that have already been appropriated by the town and not spent. The only really regrettable thing about this is where I'm suggesting you take the funds from is the legal expense account. And I hate to see money come out of that account, not to pay lawyers, but it's, I think, an appropriate way to resolve litigation. It would allow us, the economic development, to have some discretion, and yet I don't think they could do that on their own. I think it requires the approval of the Board of Selectmen. And it is my understanding that if the Board of Selectmen endorses this proposal, then they would implement it.
For the sake of knowing how much money is available,
approximately $4,000.
A little more. A little more.
I met with Bill, I met with Doug, I've met with Delfer, and we've gone over the proposal that Bill's put together. And it seems like a way that we can put this to bed and get that project back and going. I'll entertain a motion at this particular point to open it to discussion.
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Open for discussion.
What if some legal fees, issues come up and you've expended that money?
Frankly, there's 2 weeks left in the town's fiscal year. I'd say let the town attorney hang out there.
Now, in the letter you gave us before, you said there was no legal way that the town could waive these fees because of the 2005 or whatever. Isn't this still taxpayer funds right here?
No, but you're not waiving the fees. The town has some, and if you want to get into a heavy discussion on the liability issue, I would do that in executive session, because I'm not going to discuss at great depth. I'm trying to keep this public and transparent, but I'm not going to discuss the town's potential liability at great depth. But I think it's apparent on its face that when you have a contract that you promise somebody A and you can't deliver A, and that causes other expenses, that there could be some potential liability there. But I think the real thing, John, the real liability the town has is we want to get this thing resolved because we have a duty to the state of Connecticut to produce the finished product, and we're not getting it. So I think that this is not inconsistent with my previous position. I worked very hard to find a consistent way that this could be done. The fees would be paid by the applicant. Obviously, one might think that a significant portion of the fees the applicant paid may come from any settlement, and I hope they'd have some of their own money in the thing too, but that's for the Economic Development Commission to work out with the applicant. This just gives them the ability to use those funds, because I think the buck stops here in terms of settlement of litigation with the Board of Selectmen.
Now, to transfer funds out of there to do anything, do you have to go to the Board of Finance?
No, because we're not transferring funds. Some of the initial questions I had would have involved the transfer of funds, but this would be taking funds that are in the economic, and that's why the Board of Selectmen can't do this by themselves, because these funds are under the jurisdiction of the Economic Development Commission. And they would be directly from the legal account of the Economic Development Commission to buy a settlement or release, obviously legal expense. If the funds were coming from the Recreation Department to do this, then it would have to go to the Board of Finance, and the Board of Finance would have to approve the transfer. But this is money the Economic Development has for legal expenses. In my view, this would be a legal expense obtaining a release.
I agree, it's something that they had in that addendum, a mistake was made, but a promise was made that is affecting them. They're the innocent party in this, we have to correct it somehow. Otherwise, we could have other things.
It gets a lot more, I think it gets a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
That's an issue, and I think the, the fact that it is a severe eyesore, I think it's what they call an attractive nuisance. We start to attract children or young adults to a piece of property that they can gain access to, which opens us up for even, I think, more serious things. Further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
So carried.
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I do. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So carried.